friends, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, my name's Amanda. So in today's video, I've got 4 quick and easy meal ideas for you using canned chicken. A lot of us have this hanging around in our pantry, and these are some delicious ways to use them up. I think you'll be really impressed with how they taste because, you wouldn't really even know that they have canned chicken in them. So I'm really excited to show these to y'all. Let's go ahead and get into this video. So we're going to get started with our easy chicken enchiladas, and y'all, actually my intent was to make taquitos here, but you'll see in a little bit that I had a lot of trouble with the tortillas, and so we turned them into enchiladas, and that worked out just fine. But I've got some sour cream and cream cheese, onion powder, garlic powder, chili powder, and cumin going into my bowl there. So we're going to also add in some diced green chilies. I think I ended up using pretty much this entire can, and some shredded cheese, and you can just use whatever cheese you want. What I used was Colby Jack. And we're going to also add a can of chicken to this. So, of course, all these recipes are like super easy and using that canned chicken that a lot of us have in our pantries. And so you're just going to drain that and add that to this bowl and kind of stir everything together. Like I mentioned earlier, my plan was to do taquitos, and if y'all have ever made those and have any tips on how to roll them tighter and also to get the corn tortillas to not crack, I did heat them in the microwave, so they still cracked really, quite a bit. So we just turned them into enchiladas, and my kids were excited about that because they absolutely love enchiladas. So we're just going to I mixed that really well, and we're going to go ahead and just spread this on our tortillas, and I'm using corn tortillas here. You could also use, flour or whatever kind you like, and rolling them up, and then just repeating the process till I kind of used up all of my filling. I did end up having a few extra that didn't fit in my pan, and so you'll see here in a minute I'm going to put all these in a 9x13 pan, and I squeezed them in there pretty good, but I had like 2 or 3 that did not fit. And so I thought, hey, what would be a good idea would be maybe pan frying them and seeing how they tasted like that. And y'all, they were so good pan frying, so I'm going to show you that too here in just a minute. And honestly, I feel like this is a recipe that you really don't notice it being canned chicken. And I feel like that's always fun to find the recipes that kind of would make you not necessarily think, hey, this is canned chicken in here. Because it can have a different, texture and stuff like that. I do think that canned chicken makes a great thing for, especially creamy bases like this. There's, cream cheese and sour cream and all that in there. Now I'm just spreading a little bit of enchilada sauce on the bottom, and then we're going to go ahead and layer in our enchiladas, and you can tell how they cracked quite a bit, so that's why I didn't do taquitos with them. Although I will tell you that the pan frying them turned out so well. I do wish I'd fried just a few more, because obviously that is a very different texture. Anytime you bake something like this with sauce and stuff like that, it's going to be a very different texture than pan frying something where it kind of crisps up that tortilla, and you almost have a little bit of a crunch there too. So it really depends on the kind of texture you're going for and all that type of thing. I didn't use quite the whole thing of enchilada sauce. Just use however much you feel good about using. And yeah, this is where I pan fried these. These were so melty and gooey and yummy, and then that crisp tortilla, oh my word, it was so good. And these enchiladas were delicious too. They got eat up very fast in my house. My kids loved them, and we just went ahead and fixed some Mexican rice to go with this and served it like that. But it was absolutely delicious. A great way to use canned chicken for sure. And I can't believe how easy it just threw together, since you didn't have to cook chicken or anything like that. You already had that done. So definitely a winner in my house. Now we're going to do our easy chicken sandwich melts, and y'all, these were really good. So I've just got some sub-top rolls, hoagie rolls, I guess you might call them. I got these from Publix, and they were really good for this. The picture I think showed it being almost like French bread or something sliced, but I used these instead. I thought it would be kind of a better presentation, and so I really did like how it turned out. Now I'm just getting some mayonnaise scooped out here. I'm going to measure that out. And you can see I've already got my canned chicken in my bowl. I'm just going to kind of break that apart and get it a little more broke up, because some of the chunks are quite large in there. And we're going to just take and mix in our mayonnaise. We're also going to add in some seasoning. The recipe called for like something called Johnny's seasoning, and that had some ingredients of like paprika, pepper, garlic powder. So that's kind of what I added to mine, was the ingredients, and I didn't measure. I just kind of added some in there. But you could definitely, you know, follow the directions a little more closely than I did. I just kind of went by my eye, or whatever you want to call it. But so I've got that all mixed together. We're going to also add in some tomato. I just used like grape tomatoes that I had chunked up into like quarters, and then cilantro and shredded cheese. I used mild cheddar here, and just a little bit of hot sauce. I'm kind of like a spice wimp, I guess you would say, and so I didn't want to put too much of this in here, but you could definitely feel free to use a lot more if you like it spicy. And we're just going to mix this together. This is just going to be kind of our topping that's going to go on our sub rolls. And you saw me earlier kind of just cut them in half, and we're going to just pile this on top. This made 4 of these like half of sub rolls type thing, and so I felt like it made pretty good, and it was pretty hearty because you had a lot of that chicken on there and everything. And so this would be great with like a salad or something like that to serve along on the side, maybe even some pasta salad or something like that. But we're just going to cook this in a 350-degree oven for about 8 minutes. And I also thought this was really pretty and colorful. I may have put a little more cilantro than it called for, but we really liked it that way because we really like cilantro. If you don't like cilantro, you could also use like spinach or something like that, and I think it would be great. But it really just, I feel like, popped with the green and the red. But yeah, this was delicious. We actually have already made this again since I filmed this. It is highly recommended. I would very much encourage y'all to try this one. And so easy too. Next up, we've got our easy baked chicken nuggets. So I wanted to try these because these don't even call for like any kind of breading or anything in there. We really just have the chicken, the canned chicken in there, drained, and we've got an egg, shredded mozzarella, Parmesan, and some seasoning. I think I used like garlic powder, onion powder, a little bit of paprika, you know, those type of things. And you could just really use whatever, you know, you like using. I think I also put some little bit of Italian seasoning in there. But yeah, whatever seasonings you kind of enjoy, go ahead and feel free to use them here. And you just need to make sure you mix everything well. And I just use a cookie scoop some of the time anyways. I think ended up using my hand a little bit, and maybe a spoon I might have had in there. So however way you want to get kind of a scoop out, and just kind of patty it out to make it look kind of like a nugget size. And this was, you know, went pretty quickly. They didn't make just a ton of these, so definitely you could, you know, like multiply this by however many you needed. Now I also have a video where I used canned chicken to make like chicken patties, but that one did call for like breadcrumbs or some kind of binder in there like that too, and those were really good also. So depending on kind of which way you want to go, if you're trying to be a little more low carb, this would be perfect for that, since there's no, you know, breading at all of this. But you know, I think I did see somebody in maybe the comment section or something say they did put some kind of breading or something on the outside of these, and it turned out well. Now these you bake at 425 for about 18 to 22 minutes. You do flip them over halfway through, and you're just kind of looking for them to be kind of golden brown on each side. I'm sure the air fryer would also be a great way to make these, so if you wanted to do them in there, that'd be a great choice as well. But we just serve these like with some Chick-fil-A sauce, and I think some other people might have had, you know, some of my other family members had like other dipping sauces with them. But definitely recommend this recipe. I think especially kids are really going to enjoy this one. Now let's get into our chicken noodle casserole, and y'all, this is true comfort food. So incredibly easy as well. Again, all these recipes were so easy. We've got our canned chicken in here, and we're adding some cream of chicken soup along with some mayonnaise. I'm also using some frozen veggies, so I've got like a mixture of onions, celery, and carrots, and then also like some frozen mixed veggie mix, and all that was frozen. And then some shredded cheese. I use sharp cheddar. I'm also going to add in some garlic powder and onion powder. The recipe didn't call for it, but I feel like those are always seasonings that are good in things. Then we're going to mix this well and add our cooked noodles to it. And this uses like the you know, egg noodles. We always call them squiggly noodles because they're kind of squiggly, you know, shaped. I did add more noodles than it called for because, you know, I'm making a half recipe, so technically it should be half of a 12-ounce bag, but I actually used more than that because I went ahead and cooked the whole bag. And I'm glad I used more noodles. So I kind of would recommend, if you do like a half a recipe, to probably go a little heavier on the noodles, because we really enjoyed it that way. But yeah, just mix this together again with all that, kind of sauce mixture that we have in there. We're going to pour this into our baking dish, and then we're going to get to work on our panko topping. And that's just going to be some panko breadcrumbs mixed with melted butter. The recipe had you like melt the butter and put it on top of the panko, just on top of the casserole, and not mix the panko and butter together. And in my opinion, I feel like when you mix them together, it coats the panko better, makes it, I feel like it tastes better. So I did it that way instead. So, but definitely do whatever way works for you. We're just going to spread this on top, and this is going to bake at 350 degrees for 30 to 35 minutes, or until it's just kind of like hot and bubbly. Y'all, this was so good. I mean, it was absolutely delicious. And again, I mean, I really wouldn't have really thought there was like canned chicken in it necessarily. So I feel like it was a great way to use canned chicken in a different way that's a very tasty, easy, quick weeknight meal that you can throw together. Thank y'all so much for joining me today. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, I'd appreciate it if you'd give me a thumbs up. Thank y'all so much for your support as always. I appreciate it so much. I hope you each have a blessed day, and I'll see you in the next one.